Welcome to another session on the Solafide system. Today we are going to explore the purchase aspect of the Solafide catalog and if possible, if probably the inventory. So let's begin with the purchases. So the purchases consist of purchase orders, purchase bills, bill payment, expense payment, debit notes, and goods received. So we will begin with the purchase order. Okay, now for the purchase order, this is when your organization or your business purchases products rather, or services. So we'll come here to new product. Let's see how it goes. So here we have purchase request. So the title, which is purchase request, then purchase date. Now here is the item similar to that of the invoice. You have to, in fact, for the invoice is when they buy from you. Now a purchase order is when you want to buy from someone else. Interesting, right? The same procedures, no need to stress. Since you know how you fill in your invoice, it's the same thing you're going to do with the purchase order. Then you save and edit, or you can save and print, or save and create a bill. Okay, now a bill is a commercial document sent by a seller to a buyer detailing the amount the buyer owes for product or service they received. So you can save the purchase order and create a bill. So since we have not created any purchase order, we have not keyed in any information, the purchase order must have an item. So that first system is very polite. It must have an item, please. So let's do a little bit of example. Let's say coin add. So as you can see, coin is not on our purchase, is not on our list. So the purchase order will work for items that are already on your purchase list. And subsequently we'll find out how that goes. So for this one, you save, and now to create, next thing is purchase bills. Okay, here now, just like in the purchase order, which required us to save and create a bill, this is how the bill will look like. So here you mark this bill is paid, mark this item as received. So once you receive an item and the bill is paid, you tick on this. Then supplier, that's why we created a supplier list. So from our previous video, remember that we created a supplier called Conjecam. But so we are not going to key in any information on this. Bill dates, external references, then due date on receipt, like when the payment for the bill is made or was made. And so here are other similar information that we have been seeing from the previous accounts, from the previous areas, which are to be filled. And once you're done with that, you can save and save and exit, and also save and print depending on you. So the next aspect under our purchases is bill payment. So now this one is when you've passed an order, a bill has been placed, then now the payment. So add bill payment, let's see how it goes. So with this one is similar to that of a receipt. So receipt date, reference the bill. That is, you can search by the supplier, like this particular supplier. Let's say for example, I purchased goods from John on credit last week. So the supplier's name is John, so I'll come here and tap on John. Immediately you tap on this area and the supplier's names appear, automatically this payment amount will also show up. That will show that this particular supplier, you're owing him or her this certain amount. And that's that. So you're owing the amount and you've paid. So payment amount. Let's say you're owing John 50,000, and immediately tap on John, it will show you when you want to make the payment. And that's that for that. So very interesting, right? So once you're done with that, you save and new, save and edit, or you can save and print. So the next thing we move to is expense. Okay, so we move to the next aspect of our purchases, which has to do with expense payment. So this one now, add a new expense payment method, that is either card or bank. Payment date, expense, that is the expense that you want to pay for. Then amount, narration, any narration or any additional information that you need to add, you input that here. Then any extra notes that you see necessary to add, you can do that over here. And once you've keyed in this information, you just have to save. Okay, and then we move to the next aspect, which is a debit note. Okay, debit note is treated as a bill only. That is, it is used when a business is dealing with a supplier with whom they deal with credit, and as such the entity needs to have information about that supplier. This has a similar interface with that of a bill, only that it deals on the suppliers from who the bill is gotten. So very similar and same as that of an invoice. The same informations, you do the same necessary savings depending on which one you choose, and then you're done with that. Then goods received, receipt. Now this is a receipt to show that from the purchases you placed, you've received the goods. Yeah, the purchase orders you made, the bill and the bill payment, or the expense payment which you've made, the goods have been received. Now to add to your goods received, receipt, you come here, goods receipt, like the product's receipt number, the date, the vendor that or the supplier, destination warehouse. Like this is for this destination warehouse applies to organizations that have branches. Like you can buy a particular machine or product and you decide to send to one of your branches which is in another area. So select the warehouse, or in case if you have none, it's still optional. Then now you come here, search item, the item which you've received, the quantity, unit, tag similar to that of an invoice, and you fill in the necessary informations and save and use, save and edit, or you can save and create a bill. So that is that for that. So with that, we are done exploring the purchases aspect. We'll move now to the next one, which is the catalog. So for the catalog now, is here we are going to do a little bit of practical example. So now the first thing here has to do with products, then services, business expenses, inventory item, units of measurement, category, and entity asset. So let's begin with the product. So here we'll add a new product, or you can also import. You can import in case you have a product list, maybe on Excel, you can import it into the Solafide system. And in case you want to create using the Solafide system directly, cool. This is how you go about it. So you take on product's name. So here let's say chicken, unit of measure. Now this chicken, how do you want to sell it? Is it in bundles, box, barrel? So we are going to sell our chickens in let's look for kilograms. Yeah, in kilograms. Okay, unit cost price. This is how much you purchased your chicken, let's say for 4,500. Unit sales price. Okay, how much do you intend to sell it? This is 6,000. So now here is category. Now this category has to do with like what this particular item is all about. Is it art and craft, automotive, baby kids, books? So we will go to what our product looks like, which is grocery and food. This UPC code and SKU code are really not so necessary, so we are going to avoid that. Then we are not going to set in any default discounts or default tax. But in case you want to do that, if you want to set the default discount, it's here you do it. If you want to set the default tax or a minimum stock level, Like, okay, for this our chicken, we have purchased, let's say our current stock here is 20, and the minimum stock we want to have for this chicken is 3. That means if the chicken is up to or less than 3, we have to purchase another one. Then the maximum stock we want is 20. So from that now we save. Okay, showing minimum stock greater than maximum. We just put 3 and then we save. So good. This is our product list. Item number 1, which is chicken, measured in kilograms. Category is grocery and food. SKU and UPC optional. Okay, in case we want to edit this, we forgot to add something, we tap on this and then we can edit. And once you're done editing, you save. And in case you want to see how it is, you can, to see the stock level, you tap on that and it will appear like this. And in case you also want to delete this particular product from your product list, you tap on this delete and then you delete. And if your organization runs on services similar to that of a product, you also have to fill in these informations and then you save. And also move next to business expenses. So the expenses that the business incurs, like here we can say rent, because we have to rent. Item type, let's say it's order. Item type can either be label, measure of units, bundle boxes. But since this particular our rent is measured in yards, so default unit cost, let's say we pay 5,000. It's an example, so it must not be realistic. So expense account, now you see with the Solafide, you can see every other account, like the OHADA account related to this our particular expense. I used to debit it, normally that to be debited. So it's your choice, it's optional, but we are not going to choose an account, we'll save. Okay, it says you must have an associated expense account. Then we come here and we say related to raw materials and we save. So any one of your choice. Okay, now we'll move to inventory item. So this one now is a list of the products that you have in your organization, depending on you. Just like when we purchase the chicken, if you want to add more inventories into your business, you can do that here. Inventories name, unit of measure, unit cost, and similar to that of the products is the same with the inventory list. Now units of measurement. Now this one, it just shows you all the various units, various methods in which a good or whatever you're selling is being measured. Is it in barrel, in box, in bundles, cartons, case, centimeters, dozen, gallon, grams, or R? So that's that. Then new unit of measurement. In case you want to add another one that you do not see on that list, you can do that here. And then once you're done with that, you save. So the next thing now is categories. Now this one now, depending on which category your product or whatever you're selling falls under. Is it under arts and crafts or automotive parts? Like for our chicken we purchased, the chicken in our products list is under grocery and food. In case you deal with cosmetics, health and beauty, home improvements, and all the rest. Now we'll come to entities, assets, which is the last aspect under the catalog. Now this one deals with the assets that your entity has. So assets name, description, acquisition date, quantity, total acquisition cost, useful life, salvage value, depreciation method, depreciation rate. So let's say our asset here is chairs. For example, asset description is not really necessary. Acquisition date, the month, let's say on the 01st. on the date, let's say on the 12th, the year